Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai.
Not too long. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can I have a kartava? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari. जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Gokula Nanda, Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe. Jai Panchatattva Jaya, Panchatattva Jaya, Panchatattva Jaya, Panchatattva. Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottara Sat. His Divine Grace Abhay Charanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand Ki Jai. Shri Shri Panchatattva Ki Jai. Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganda Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahaganda Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Shri Hanuman Ki Jai. So yesterday we were speaking about the rocket launch type flight of Hanuman as he perched himself on the top of Mount Mahendra and got ready to jump across the sea to Lanka. Valmiki Muni has described in very elaborate detail the preparations for Hanuman's launch, and also what happened shortly after the launch, and also in the course of the flight across the sea. Once Hanuman was flying across the sea, because of the sheer force of his movement and the impact of his launch, not only was the whole mountain crumbling to pieces, as we discussed yesterday, but even the ocean was agitated, and it was like a tsunami. A whole tsunami of waves that were going very high were generated in the ocean. And they struck Hanuman on his chest, and without caring for them, he continued to fly across. As it happened, the demigods wanted to encourage Hanuman in his flight. There was a mountain inside the ocean called Mainaka Mountain, which had been placed there by Indra to prevent the demons from coming from the nether regions onto the earth. So they requested, and the ocean also wanted to assist Hanuman in his journey, because the ocean knew the glorious purpose for which Hanuman was going across the sea. So the ocean requested the Mainaka mountain to rise above the waters and to give a place for Hanuman to rest for a while. Like a transit, when you go on a flight, you halt for some time, take another flight. So the ocean felt that maybe this is a chance to serve Hanuman and hence to serve Lord Ram. And this will give a chance to Hanuman to also rest. So the mountain emerged from the ocean, and Hanuman thought it was an impediment, an unfavorable, inimical impediment. So he pushed it aside with his chest. The Mainaka mountain, recognizing the valor of Hanuman, assumed the human form and came on top of the mountain, and with folded hands began to plead with Hanuman. He says, "Oh great Hanuman, I am only wishing to serve you at this time. I have no inimical intent. I wish to please your father by serving you. In the days of yore, we mountains also used to have our wings, and we would fly everywhere. But the rishis and the demigods became afraid that if we by chance fell down, then we would crush everything. So therefore they deprived us of our wings, and Indra cut off the wings of everybody. But somehow I was spared, and I remained here because your father Vayu placed me here in the ocean. And therefore I remained here. So please rest a while. Take some refreshments, and then you can move on." So Hanuman was pleased with the service attitude of Mainaka mountain and said, "My dear mountain, I wish to express my gratitude to you for your service, but I must tell you that I am on a very urgent mission, and there is no time to waste for me to rest. So I must move." So he respectfully touched Mainaka mountain, and then he flew on. Meanwhile, Indra came to Mainaka mountain and said, "Henceforth you need not fear my thunderbolt, with which I have cut off the wings of all the other mountains. So you may retain your wings." And the mountain sunk back into the ocean. Again, as Hanuman flew across the sea, the demigods wanted to ascertain the valor and the prowess of Hanuman, because the kind of mission on which Hanuman was proceeding was so difficult. Ravan was extremely strong. He could overpower even most of the demigods. So this was not an ordinary mission. So the demigods wanted to be sure that Hanuman was actually fit for the task. So they spoke to the mother of the Nagas, whose name was Surasa, that please rise above the water and test the strength of Hanuman. So she rose and she assumed a huge form, and she came in the way of Hanuman and said, "O Hanuman, I have the benediction of Brahma that whenever I see food in front of me, it will be mine." That is not always the case with us, isn't it? We many times see food and then, either we are not able to get it, or the doctor has told us not to take it, or for some reason we don't have access to that food. But she had the benediction of Brahma that whenever she saw any food in any form, then she would get that. It would enter into her mouth. That was the benediction. So Hanuman said to her, "Look, I am here on a very glorious mission to serve Lord Ram, to find Sita Devi who is in Lanka and bring her back to Ram. So please help me in my mission. And if you think you don't want to help me in my mission, at least let me proceed ahead. And I will fulfill the benediction of Lord Brahma. After I have found information of Sita in Lanka, and I have given this information to Ram, then I will come here, and then you can eat me after that." So Surasa said, "O impudent one, the benediction of Brahma will never go in vain. So you must immediately enter into my mouth." So Hanuman expanded his size, and then she expanded her size further. Then he expanded his size again. She expanded her mouth. So 10 yojanas, 20 yojanas, 30 yojanas, 50 yojanas. There was a competition of whose size would increase. As she increased the size of her gaping mouth, Hanuman would increase his body size even more than that. Finally, she increased it to almost 100 yojanas. And Hanuman was also that big. And Hanuman was very clever. So he immediately reduced his size to a very tiny size. And he flew into the mouth of Surasa and quickly came out of the mouth of Surasa. So he had fulfilled the benediction of Brahma that he would enter into the mouth of Surasa. So he went rapidly into the mouth, and before she could realize what had happened, he had come out of the mouth. And he said, "Okay, now I have fulfilled the benediction of Lord Brahma, so that you have now no problems." So she was very pleased with his intelligence and his valor. She said she identified herself as the mother of the Nagas. "Now all the demigods are confident that you will be able to accomplish your task. So please go ahead." So Hanuman continued to fly. So this is one of the famous pastimes of Hanuman. You must have heard about it, where he increased his size and then suddenly made himself very small, entered into the mouth and came out again. So then he flew on. Another Rakshasi came on the scene. Her name was Simhika. And she also came with an open mouth that she kept increasing the size of her mouth. Now Hanuman was getting impatient with all these obstacles coming in the path. So this time he didn't have time for any niceties or for being goody-goody. So he just entered into her mouth and penetrated right into her heart and came out through the body. So he killed her by entering into her and piercing her body on the way out. And in this way he continued his journey. And as he was flying, at what altitude I don't know, our planes fly at 30,000 feet, our aeroplanes. So, and they fly at about maybe 800 to 900 miles an hour. So Hanuman's speed, what it was, I do not know, what altitude and speed. But at a distance now he could see the beaches and the forests of Lanka and the Trikuta mountain on which the city of Lanka was situated. So he came there and landed on one of the crags of the Trikuta mountain. And he looked up to survey the huge city of Lanka. At that time, he still had a big form, maybe not as gigantic as he had when he started out, but it was still very large. Valmiki Muni explains that as Hanuman was flying over the ocean, the size of his shadow was about 80 miles by 240 miles. And this Simhika Rakshasi attacked him by holding his shadow. This is also a kind of mystic potency. A mystic potency where somebody can step on your shadow and you won't be able to move. You're stuck. It's as if somebody is personally dragging you behind. So she had this potency. So when Simhika came in front of Hanuman, actually Hanuman didn't see her initially. He was flying and flying. And suddenly he felt himself getting dragged behind. And he thought, what's happening? Am I losing my strength? But that should not be happening. Then he looked around to see that the Simhika Rakshasi was holding his shadow. So then he understood what was happening. And he had a huge shadow. So therefore it was not difficult for Simhika to grab the shadow. So these are little things we read of in the scriptures which are not possible now. So in any case, he came to Lanka. And he stood there. And he was thinking, how on earth are we going to reach here? Lanka was massive, and the fortifications of Lanka seemed very formidable. And as he rose, he could see the guards. The army was huge. There were thousands and thousands of soldiers guarding Lanka at every point. Hanuman felt to himself, even the wind cannot enter into Lanka without being given permission. So how is it that Ram will emerge victorious here? Because only myself, Angad, Neel, and one or two others may be able to cross over the ocean. So even if Ram and Lakshman come with a handful of us, how can we defeat this massive Rakshasa army of Lanka? And with this kind of fortification, high walls and moats and weapons of all sorts. So as he somehow reduced his size, and he went on top, and somehow he said, I should wait for the night, because in the daytime everybody can see me. So when it was night, he tried to slip into Lanka through the walls. And at that time another fierce Rakshasi emerged. She said, I am the goddess of Lanka. And who are you who dares to enter into this city? No monkey is allowed to enter into this city without my permission. Of course, generally, animals and birds, they enter freely into so many places. In Vrindavan, if you see, is famous for monkeys coming here and there, everywhere. They enter into your house, they enter anywhere and everywhere. There was one Mataji, one lady in Vrindavan, one devotee. She purchased a flat from the real estate developer. He had built a multi-storied building, and she purchased one of the apartments in that flat, in that building. And in that whole building, there was a whole army of monkeys residing. That was their favorite haunt. So they would live wherever they were living, but in the daytime, night, they would go into the trees, I suppose. But in the daytime, they were all over the place with their extended families. And so they would be everywhere in the passages of the building. As you opened your door, immediately you would see some monkeys, in the court, in the passage. So naturally, people were not, they felt a little nervous about this, because you never know what monkeys may do. So she complained to the developer that, do something about the monkeys. As soon as I open my door, there are monkeys in the front and monkeys on the stairways. As the lift door opens, suddenly you see monkeys in the front. It's very scary. So he said, Mataji, in Vrindavan, especially in my society, the monkeys come free with the flat. Just like when you buy some product in the market, they say, you get a ballpoint pen with this, this gift, you get a free gift. So he said the monkeys come free. So here we may not be able to prevent the monkeys from entering, or even the cats and dogs and so on. But in Lanka, the fortifications were so strong, not even a little monkey could get in. And by now, Hanuman had made his size very small, like a cat, the size of a cat, just to evade notice. But still, Lanka Devi, she accosted him and said, "You can't enter." And then Hanuman said, "You must allow me to go." He said, "No." And then she struck him, and Hanuman became very indignant. And he gave her one light slap. He didn't hit her too hard because he felt, I can't strike a woman. It's not right. Against my dharma. He just gave her a light slap, but that light slap was so strong that she fell down moaning in pain. And then she said, "Oh yes, I remember something that Brahma, the creator, told me a long, long time ago. He said, when a monkey comes here into Lanka and hits you so hard and overpowers you, that is an indication that the entire Rakshasa army of Lanka will be defeated and Ravana will also be destroyed. So now I can understand that Ravana's death is near. So now you go ahead inside." So Hanuman entered into Lanka. And he was struck with wonder to see the sheer opulence of Lanka. There were these 7 to 8 story buildings, and all made of, all sorts of crystal stone and gold and rubies, inlaid decorations and all sorts of things. He had never seen opulence like this in his life. Because after all, Hanuman used to stay in the forest in Rishamukha mountain. Kishkinda was opulent, undoubtedly, but Lanka was something else. And then he saw the Rakshasas everywhere going about in their huge chariots and their power and their weapons. And then he was looking here and there, and he could see the enjoyment and the revelry going on, because it was night now. So there was all sorts of revelry going on, enjoyment going on everywhere. Then he jumped in from palace to palace and building to building, and he went inside and he saw so many women all over inside, and all sorts of revelry, today you would call them parties, that were going on inside. And there was intoxication, there was all sorts of sense gratification going on. And Hanuman was only searching for Sita. He saw all these ladies inappropriately dressed and all over, and intoxication everywhere, all sorts of enjoyment going on. And he was thinking, I'm a brahmachari, what am I doing here? And I'm seeing all these sights. It's not good for me, it's very sinful. But then my intention is clear, because I am here only to look for Sita. And he said, none of these are Sita for sure. He had seen Sita when she was being carried away by Ravana, but they were very high. And at that point, when Ravana was flying over Kishkinda, over Rishamukha mountain, Sita had seen these monkeys, Sugriva, Hanuman, and 2 or 3 of their associates. And she had dropped some of her jewelry. And that jewelry had been preserved by Sugriva, and he gave it to Ram when Ram and Sugriva met for the first time. So Hanuman had some idea, but not very clear, because he had seen her from a distance. So she was looking, and then he went into the palace after palace or house after house to see where Sita was, but he could not find her. Then he went into Ravana's chambers. Ravana's personal home was miles long. And there also there were so many women. They were all intoxicated. This was a Rakshasa community. So, So if that happens in human society, and it does a lot, then we can understand that this human society is also becoming like Rakshasa society, where everybody, men, women, everyone takes intoxication and indulge in all sorts of unholy revelry. All sorts of things happen. I think you know better than me what happens in the outside world. So he saw this, And he was thinking, what is going on? And then he saw, are these princesses, these queens, they look so beautiful. Are they Sita? He said, no, 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 no. Sita cannot be in the chambers enjoying with Ravana. That's not possible. Then he identified the queen, the principal queen of Ravana, Mandodari. She looked very regal and very dignified. But still, because she was associating with Ravana, he said, this cannot be Sita. And as time was going by, the hours of the night were passing, and Hanuman was going from building to building, from place to place, all over the streets, and he was not able to find Sita. So he was becoming discouraged, and he was becoming a little depressed. What happens if I don't find Sita? By chance, if she's dead out of grief, or perhaps Ravana has killed her because she refused to submit to his desires. So what will happen? And he started thinking about the dreadful consequences of that. If by chance Sita has died, then what will I do? How will I face Ram? Surely Ram and Lakshman will not be able to live. They will give up their life heirs. And then Sugriva will die. All the monkey soldiers will die in grief. And then because of that, Shatrugna, the three brothers, they will all die. There will be total devastation. No, 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 I cannot go back with this news. Better I stay here and die. So all these thoughts were going on in Hanuman's mind because he was unable to find Sita. So he looked all over the city, and then he became more and more discouraged. Finally, on the outskirts of the city, he saw a grove of Ashoka trees, the Ashoka Vatika. He said, this is the last chance. This is the only place that I have not seen. Let me check it out. So then he went there, and he saw the place was full of Rakshasis, hideous looking Rakshasis. And Valmiki Rishi describes them in detail. Very ugly looking, with all sorts of deformed bodies and everything. And as he scoured the whole place, he was trying to look around, going carefully. Finally, he saw Sita Devi. He said, this must be Sita. Just look at her divine beauty and see her dignified appearance and her clothes. And she was looking very, very sad, in great agony. And she was sitting there all alone, looking very fearful. And Hanuman surmised, yes, this is Sita. And then he was looking at her from a distance, and he surveyed the whole scene around her. And he saw that it was a very dangerous situation because there were Rakshasis all around. Of course, they were all asleep in different places, but still it was very dangerous. So as he came on the tree above where Sita was sitting, he was pondering over how he should approach Sita. He started thinking, how should I approach her so that she doesn't become afraid and think I'm Ravana? If I speak in Sanskrit, then she will have faith that it is a well-wisher. She will understand what I am saying. Oh, but Ravana is also a Sanskrit Pandit. Maybe Sita will think that Ravana, who has the capacity to change his form at will, has come in disguise just to deceive me. So then she will not listen to me. Okay, then maybe I should speak in the language of Ayodhya, the Ayodhya dialect I should speak. Then she will understand. But still she may doubt me. And in this way, one after the other, Hanuman was going through all these different options in his mind. How can I approach Sita so that she doesn't get afraid? And finally, he rejected every option. Because Valmiki gives a list of so many options, but if I start giving those options, we will not. I must do this very fast. If the messenger is not intelligent and capable, he can destroy the mission of the master. So great responsibility rests on my shoulders. I cannot take any chances. I have to be very careful in my approach. So then he said, the best thing I can do is to sit on this tree and glorify Ram. So he sung a beautiful song about the glories of Lord Ram. And as he was singing this song about Ram, when Sita heard the name of Ram and him being glorified, she immediately looked up. So who is this? Who is singing? Where am I hearing? Am I dreaming? Who is singing the glories of Ram here in the middle of Lanka? And then Hanuman revealed himself. And she said, monkey? Glorifying Ram? How is that possible? So then Hanuman started speaking and said, I am the messenger of Ram. But Sita wasn't ready to believe him because she knew the guiles of Ravana. She had already been tricked once by Ravan in the beginning when she was abducted. So now she was very careful. So she said, maybe this is Ravana come in disguise as a monkey. The dialogue between Sita and Hanuman is also quite long. And Sita Devi's torment in her mind, should I trust him? Should I not trust him? Is it Ravana in disguise, or is he genuinely a messenger of Ram? So it took a long time. A lot of back and forth went in. Hanuman was using all his tact, all his intelligence, all his power of speech and his devotion to try to win over the trust of Sita Devi. Finally, she understood, yes, this is a genuine person. Hanuman had already introduced himself. He explained who he was, etc., and why he had come here, how the Lord had sent him here, how he had jumped across the sea. And finally, he gave her the ring that Ram had given, which had his name engraved in the inner side. When Sita saw this, she became overjoyed. So she was very, very happy, and then she understood that this is a genuine messenger. And in a great joy, she said, I'm very happy, Hanuman. Please stay here for one day, because I have been so deprived of any hope that now by seeing you, I get very hopeful. Although when I look at the reality of the situation, I see, how is it possible for Ram and Lakshman to cross the sea and come here, and then to fight against Ravana and his massive army? How will it ever be possible? And how will he take me across the sea again? So she was still going through this torment, and Hanuman assured her, consoled her. He said, don't worry, Lord Ram is capable and I am no less. I will make sure, even now I can take you, you sit on my shoulders, and I will jump across the sea and take you back to Ram. And Sita said, now you're talking like a monkey. How can a monkey jump across? But I came across this way, I jumped. So she said, well, if I sit on your shoulder and you'll go at such a fast speed, then I may just faint because of that force, and I may fall into the sea, and I'll be eaten by all the crocodiles and whoever other dangerous animals that live in the sea. And even if I were to survive, I may fall, and the Rakshasas will chase you, they will attack you, and you will be busy fighting with them. And then because you're busy, I may slip and fall into the sea. Then what will happen? So in this way, Sita was giving lots of reasons. And finally she said, I can never touch another man except my husband. Therefore, I cannot touch you, even though I know you are such a great devotee and you mean well and you are very pure-hearted. Of course, she had already been touched by Ravana, but that was by force. So she said, furthermore, apart from that, it is for the glory of Ram, that he should come here and rescue me and take me back. Then Ram's glory will spread everywhere. If you rescue me and take me back, Ram will not get any glory. So I want Ram to get all the glory. So therefore, please make haste and tell Ram about my situation and ask him to come here as soon as possible. So Hanuman said, all right. But he said, before that, let me visit Lanka and test the strength of the Ravanas, of Ravana and the Rakshasas. So Ravana ventured out. He said, what should I do? I have to do something to attract attention. So he went to the gate of the garden and he destroyed the entire garden, the entire Ashoka trees. He created havoc there. The Rakshasis who were lying asleep here and there in the garden, they awoke with a start, and in terror they saw this terrorist had come here. Unfortunately, Lanka, there has been a terrorist attack. You must have heard about it. And more than 250 people or something have been killed. Unfortunate. But of course, terrorism is not a new thing. Hiranyakashipu was probably the original terrorist. And there were many other terrorists who followed in his wake. Ravana was another terrorist like that. See, the world has seen, unfortunately, many, many terrorists. So it was now Hanuman who struck terror in the hearts of the terrorists. And he created havoc over them. And then immediately they came and he killed them all. And then the word was sent back to Ravana. And Ravana sent his commanders. And one after the other, Ravana's generals and commanders came. He sent thousands of Rakshasa soldiers, and Hanuman easily defeated all of them. All these episodes have been described at great length, very picturesquely, by Valmiki Muni in the Ramayana. So in any case, one after the other, Hanuman defeated every one of them. And as time went by, Ravana realized that this monkey, very strange. How is it that he's so powerful? Even his son Aksha had been killed by by Hanuman. Hanuman actually didn't want to kill Aksha because he was a young boy and he was very valiant. So Hanuman appreciated the valor of this young boy. But nevertheless, he knew that if I don't kill him, I will have to get killed. And then the mission of my Lord will not be fulfilled. So then reluctantly, he had to kill Aksha. So in any case, all the soldiers, the generals, they were all killed. Then finally, Ravana looked at Indrajit, his eldest son. And Indrajit understood. So Indrajit went out, understanding that this monkey is not an ordinary monkey. And then there was a fierce battle, and Indrajit let loose his Brahmastra weapon. The Brahmastra weapon is the weapon of Brahma. And that is practically insurmountable. Anyone who employs the Brahmastra weapon is undefeatable. Now, Indrajit used the Brahmastra weapon and let it loose at Hanuman. Now, you will remember that when Hanuman, in his babyhood, soon after birth, had been struck by the thunderbolt of Indra and he had died, and then Brahma had brought all the demigods and they had given benedictions to baby Hanuman, and Brahma himself had given the benediction that Hanuman would be immune to his own weapon, that is Brahmastra. That is, the Brahmastra weapon would lose its power in a very short time if it was used against Hanuman. Indrajit did not know that. So he let loose his Brahmastra weapon, and apparently Hanuman was tied. But very quickly the effect of the Brahmastra wore off. In the meanwhile, as he sat there, the Rakshasas came, the other soldiers, and they bound him with ropes. And Indrajit said in his mind, oh, these foolish Rakshasas. Why did he think that? For one thing, the Brahmastra, because it has its own dignity, it will act only by itself, not when it is used in conjunction with other forces or other weapons. So the moment the Rakshasas tied Hanuman with a rope, the rope had been used as a means of confining or restraining Hanuman. The Brahmastra lost its power. It would not work anymore. Indrajit knew. He said, why have these Rakshasas gone and tied Hanuman with a rope? And now my Brahmastra has gone waste. But even before that, Indrajit understood that this monkey is only pretending to be bound. He's only pretending to be in pain, but actually he's free. Something's wrong here. So in any case, Hanuman voluntarily allowed himself to be bound because he wanted to see Ravana face to face. And now he had tested the strength of the armies of Lanka. He had seen what Lanka was within. He had seen the generals and soldiers of Ravana. And now he wanted to see Ravana himself. So he was bound. He pretended to be captured. And the soldiers of Ravana led him into the court. And a long dialogue ensued between Ravana and Hanuman. And Ravana finally said, who are you? And as I mentioned in the first day of the Katha, Hanuman introduced himself. Does anyone remember what was Hanuman's famous introduction? No. I am the servant of Ram. Yes? Huh? That is in Kishkinda. But now when he met Ravan, Dasoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Klishta Karmanaha. Yes? Dasoham, I am the servant. Servant of whom? Kosalendrasya. I am the servant of the king of Kosala, whose name is Ram. I am the servant of Ram, Ramasya, who never gets tired in his activities, who's aklishta karmanaha. Klishta means to get tired. Aklishta means never tired. So Ram, I am the servant of that Ram who is the king of Kosala and who never gets tired in his activities. So Hanuman introduced himself like that. And he continued to taunt Ravana. Ravana was enraged. And he ordered his soldiers, kill him, kill this monkey. And Vibhishan was there. Vibhishan pleaded with his brother and said, my dear brother, this is not the way to treat a messenger. The Shastras do not prescribe the killing of a messenger. If you like, you can fight with the person who this messenger is representing, that is Ram and Lakshman. Fight with them and kill them. Of course, Vibhishan knew that Ravana would never be able to kill them. But he said, you must attempt to kill your enemy, not the enemy's messenger. This is against our dharma, it is against Shastra. But Ravana said, but he has created so much havoc in our kingdom. How can I spare him? So Ravana was still keen on killing. Somehow or the other, Vibhishan convinced him, cajoled him, that it's not right. The only things that are prescribed for a messenger are certain types of punishment. So you can punish him, but you can't kill him. So finally Ravana agreed to Vibhishan's advice. Then he thought for a moment, how should I punish this wretched monkey who has come and created such havoc in my kingdom? He thought for a moment and said, monkeys are very proud of their tails. So let me humiliate him by setting his tail on fire. So he told his soldiers, set his tail on fire. So the Rakshasas came with a cloth that had been dipped in oil, that would burst into flames if it was lit. And then they tied this to Hanuman's tail tightly, and then they lit it with a torch, and Hanuman's tail was set on fire. So Hanuman suddenly leapt up. Of course, as I said, he was not actually captured. He only pretended that he was captured. Then he leapt up and he burst through the palace confines, and he went out and he brandished his weapon, the tail, and set everything around on fire. So everything in Lanka was now burning thanks to Hanuman. And Agni Dev, who was one of the demigods who had offered benedictions to Hanuman when he was a baby, and he felt great compassion for Hanuman. He wanted to assist Hanuman. So he started blowing cool ice winds, icy breezes on the tail. So Hanuman was feeling puzzled. How is it that when my tail is burning, I'm feeling as if my tail has been dipped in ice? I'm feeling so cool and nice. My tail is feeling very comfortable and is burning. How is that? Maybe this is because of the mercy of Lord Ram and Lakshman and Sita. So then he wreaked havoc everywhere in Lanka. And he went here and there. Finally, he doused his tail in the water and extinguished the flame. Then he said, then as he was about to jump back, he thought, oh my God, what have I done? I have burnt down the whole of Lanka. What if Sita has been burnt in this fire? Oh, what did I do? So I must go back to Ashok Vatika and check whether Sita is safe. So immediately he jumped to Ashok Vatika, and he saw that Sita was safe. And Sita said, Hanuman, please stay here for one day more and give me some association, because I have been in so much suffering in this place. It's just like when you see a devotee after a long, long time. You've been in the midst of materialistic people, and the devotee is visiting you only for a short time. You say, please stay for some time at least. I've been in the midst of all these materialistic people. So Sita Devi told Hanuman, please stay. But Hanuman said, no, I have to go to Ram and immediately give him the message. And Sita told him, tell him. And Hanuman asked her, how can I convince Ram that I have met you? What proof should I give him? So, naturally, a good question. Just as Ram had given a ring to Hanuman to convince Sita that Hanuman was a genuine envoy of Ram, similarly now Hanuman wanted something from Sita to give back to Ram. So Sita gave him one jewel from her head. And he said, give this jewel. And this jewel has been, when it was given to me, 3 people saw it. Ram, my mother gave it to me as a dowry at my wedding, and Ram's father, Dasharath Maharaj, was present at that time. So these 3 people are witness. So you can give this jewel to Ram and tell him about this incident when my mother gave this jewel to me. And also, to further clarify and confirm that you have met me, tell him of this one incident that happened, which nobody else knows about. That I was sitting with Ram one time when we were in the exile in the forest. And we were sitting comfortably chatting. And at that time a crow came and started troubling me. And I became very annoyed. And I was trying to shoo away the crow. But the crow was adamant. And finally, Lord Ram also laughed, and I went and sat near Ram. And then the crow stayed at a distance out of fear of Ram. Then both of us fell asleep. And at that time the crow came and again attacked me and pecked my body with its beak, and there was blood from my body that came out, and drops of blood fell on Ram's body. And he awakened and he saw the blood, my blood, and he saw that there was a crow and the crow's beak had blood. So Ram became very furious and he picked up a kusha blade, a blade of kusha grass, and he chanted mantras and made that into like a Brahmastra weapon. And he wanted to unleash that, he wanted to release that on the crow. That crow was actually the son of Indra. And this crow came and begged forgiveness from Ram. He surrendered to Ram and took shelter of him. And because Ram is so magnanimous by nature, he forgave this crow and warned him never to do such a thing again in the future. But nevertheless, once the Brahmastra has been invoked, it has to be used somewhere. So then with that Brahmastra, he blinded this crow in one eye. Now the Brahmastra is such a weapon, it is more powerful, many times more powerful than our modern day nuclear weapons, our atom bombs. But at the same time, this weapon can cause only selective damage if so desired by the person who releases it. Unlike the modern day atom bomb. Once you throw a nuclear bomb somewhere, it just destroys everyone indiscriminately. But not so with the Brahmastra. Like Ashwatthama threw the Brahmastra, intending to kill the child in the womb. So it can go for only a specific target and it won't hurt others. So that is the nature of weapons that are used by mantras, that are created by mantras. So in any case, he blinded the crow in one eye, and the crow then departed. So this is an incident that nobody else knows about Hanuman. So please tell Ram about this. And she narrated a few other instances in their dealings to inspire confidence in Ram that Hanuman had actually met Sita. And then Hanuman flew across the sea once again. I'm summarizing the whole thing. The actual narration is very long. Hanuman then flew across the sea. The Vanar Sena, the soldiers of the monkey army, Angad and others who had been waiting on Mount Mahendra, had told Hanuman, "We are going to wait for you here. We will stand on one leg waiting for you till you return." So all the monkeys had been waiting eagerly for Hanuman to come back. And when Hanuman came back and he gave them the good news, they were in raptures. So there was all ecstatic celebration. All the monkeys, they were shouting with joy and they said, "All glories to Lord Ram," and they started heading back towards Kishkindha. And on the way, they were just creating devastation everywhere in all the forests in their great happiness. And they went to certain forests where there was honey and they started drinking. There was a wild celebration going on. And when monkeys celebrate, they really celebrate, I don't know if you have seen monkeys celebrating in Vrindavan, but when they do, they can be very ferocious also. Even those little monkeys can be very ferocious. So, Prabhupada said, by the way, that with the monkeys in Vrindavan, in general with monkeys, you should neither be their enemy nor be their friend. Just keep a neutral distance from monkeys because you never know. So there was a wild celebration. And finally, they reached Kishkindha. And Hanuman gave the good news to Ram. And he gave Sita's jewel. And he narrated this episode of the crow attacking Sita. And Ram was overjoyed. He embraced Hanuman with great happiness. And then the plans were made to move southward. And then the entire army moved on southwards. Of course, Hanuman's pastimes continued in the battle as well. He had a very important role to play. You all know the pastime of his lifting the Gandhamadhan, the mountain, bringing it on his palm. That picture is very famous. The Sanjeevani herbs to revive Ram and Lakshman. Hanuman had also actually, in the course of building the bridge, he had also carried Govardhan to put into the ocean. But somewhere as he was flying over Braj, Govardhan said, I want to, be here. So Hanuman had, at that time they heard the news that the bridge was already built. So then Govardhan said, it's already built. Hanuman placed Govardhan in Braj. And Govardhan was very sorry. He said, I wanted to serve Ram. I was so eager. And now I have lost that opportunity. So when Hanuman told this to Lord Ram later, after jumping to Lanka, Ram said, please tell him, please console him, and tell him that in this age of Treta, I will not be able to utilize his services. But in the next age of Dwapar, I will give him many, many opportunities to serve me. And then indeed in Dwapar Yuga, the Lord came in his original form as Krishna. And he had so many pastimes on and around Govardhan. So Hanuman had a very important role to play in Govardhan coming to Braj. That's one of the pastimes that is narrated about how Govardhan came to Braj. Pavanasuta Hanuman ki jai. Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. There are many, many more pastimes of Hanuman, of course. And anyway, now this season was the Hanuman flavor and Ram flavor because of Ram Navami and Hanuman Jayanti. Very soon we will have Narsimha Chaturdashi. You can be Narsimha flavor and mood. So you can hear pastimes of Lord Narsimha Dev and Prahlad. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So, I think it's about happy inside occasion that we are coming to the end of this 3 series class of Ram Lila. If you ever get any opportunity to ask benediction to Lord Brahma, I think we should ask that we should always have this opportunity to uninterruptedly and eternally just hear the Ram Katha from Maharaj's lotus mouth. Wouldn't be a good benediction to ask? Yeah, but somehow in this material world we are limited. But I wish we can hear more and more. But Maharaj's next class will be at 12 o'clock. So I wish and hope that you all can come by that time. And I think we should really thank Maharaj that he's taken a lot of trouble to enlighten us. I think his health is not very well, good health. So I think the best way we can thank Maharaj for his help to in our spiritual life is that we imbibe the instructions and the help that he's giving to us. I think that is the best way to show our gratitude. So thank you so much, Maharaj. We'll never be able to thank you the amount of service that you are providing to us. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you all very much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. And we have some of our ISKCON devotees who have also written renditions of that in plain English, summarized versions. 3 devotees, ISKCON devotees have written, Krishna Dharma Prabhu, and Purna Pragya Prabhu, and Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. So 3 ISKCON editions of the Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana are available. So
What do you recommend?
sorry?
Of the 3, which one? edition which will provide the Sanskrit and word for word meaning and the translation?
Yes, there are several. There is one that is published by Gita Press.
Is that in
has
English?
the individual 2, 3 verses, 4 verses together, 10 verses, and then the translation of all together. All the Sanskrit verses with translation
Translation in English? Or?
in English. And you have another one by M.N. Dutt, who also translated the Mahabharata. That is also single verse translation into English.
Amanda.
Yes.
Alright, because the one that Kushinawa Prabhu has written, that is like a novel.
Yes.
It's not got the Sanskrit and all that.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is why I wondered if the others that you mentioned are any different.
Yeah, because they're far more detailed. See, these 3 books that our ISKCON devotees have written are summarized versions, and they're in only narrative format.
Yes.
And they have selected certain things, they've omitted certain details, because it would become too big otherwise the book. So they have summarized it. And there are no Sanskrit verses in these 3 books. It is just meant for a normal reading in English. Whereas the other books, the original Valmiki Ramayana with the verse and the translation, that is very detailed. In 2, 3 volumes thick like this.
Maharaj, the Valmiki Ramayana is the one you recommend, not the Tulsidas Ramayana?
This is the standard original Ramayana.
Valmiki.
Adi Ramayana. Original Ramayana. All other Ramayans are based on this Ramayana. So our Acharyas are recommending Valmiki Ramayana as the main Ramayana.
So the Gita Press is the recommended one.
Valmiki Ramayana is recommended.
Yes, but the
Now, therefore it is easy to look at these 3 ISKCON books, read that from beginning to end, you get the entire storyline. Quite a bit of detail actually. Quite a bit of detail is there. And for those who really want to go into the Sanskrit verses and all that, you have these other editions. But because there is not much philosophy involved here, there may not be much risk, because when you go to other publishers, if there's philosophy, then there may be some misrepresentation. Philosophically, they will give their own statements. You have to be a little careful about that. That is why when our senior devotees, especially these 3 have written editions, very easily digestible for all of us. I have the Sanskrit one also, the English translation, the full set.
Maharaj, I know that Shubhilal Prabhu had put quite a bit of effort. He was also from, he also had background of Sri Sampradaya and quite a bit of effort. So I was wondering, any of our ISKCON devotees trying to translate, Ramayana into English, verse by verse, word by word translation like that? Is any of our ISKCON devotees are trying?
Not to my knowledge. It is very huge. It has 24,000 verses. Bhagavatam has 18,000. So that's a huge task. So I don't think anyone is doing that. There are already translations available by others. And as far as other, see, there are so many editions of the Ramayana, versions of the Ramayana. The original is Valmiki. So in Tamil Nadu you have Kamba Ramayana. In Telugu you have also Ranganatha Ramayana and so many other types of Ramayana. Yes?
Yes.
Which is other Telugu famous?
Molla Ramayana.
Molla Ramayana.
Yeah.
And Nepali, in Bengali, in Marathi, in so many languages, all different versions. Of course, Ramcharitmanas is very famous in Awadhi language. So Ramayana has many versions, and many of the stories are quite different. Yes.
In Valmiki Ramayana, we are given the introduction of how Valmiki sees a hunter kill a bird, and how he recites that curse.
Yes.
And it's a poem.
Yes.
So we're given that introduction first, but Valmiki himself plays a part in the Ramayana where Lava and Kush are there.
Yes.
So did he write all the Ramayana before, or did he write it during? So how did he write it? Did he write it
Okay.
during it was happening or
Does
after?
anyone know the answer?
He written it after it has happened.
He wrote it in between, at a time where Ram had come back from Ayodhya, but his reign was yet to commence. He had just been coronated. And then in the future tense is his reign of 11,000 years. So what happened during his reign, that also Valmiki could foresee. So this is very interesting because Valmiki is also part of the whole thing, not only for love and kush, but even before. Ram visits his ashram on the way to the south in exile. So Valmiki's ashram Ram visits before. Valmiki was blessed right in the beginning by Brahma that he would be able to clearly see with crystal clear vision all the times of what Ram happened in the past that were happening currently and that would happen in the future. Brahma and Valmiki happened when Ram was still performing his pastimes. At some point in Lord Ram's physical presence on this planet, the Valmiki was composed. The Ramayana was composed by Valmiki. And Brahma blessed Valmiki and said that everything you say in your book will be true. Nothing will be false. And this book will be existing as long as the mountains and the oceans and the rivers exist on the earth. And you and your book will be glorified on the earth and also in the other planets of the universe.
You know, Maharaj, as they have so many old scriptures, sometimes in temples preserved, especially in the south of India, is there any, bits of the original Valmiki Ramayana lying anywhere?
No, it's not possible because this happened in Treta Yuga, right?
Yeah.
So in those days there was no writing. Writing began only in Kali Yuga. And that is why just a few thousand years ago.
So anything from just a few thousand years ago, some manuscripts that are saying these things?
There may be some, but not too old. Not too old because they didn't have paper in those days that would last that long. The maximum antiquity is maybe 5, 6 centuries, maybe 1,000, 2,000, a few thousand years at the most. Because to preserve that paper, you need a certain technology, which is available now perhaps, but 3,000 or 4,000 years ago they may not have had that technology to preserve. They didn't have paper.
So excuse me for a very stupid question, please. How do we have all this information now from so long ago? How did they preserve all this information that has come down through so many yugas?
Yes, that is because the earlier ages, people were so capable, they had such strong memories that they could just remember by hearing. So when Valmiki composed the Ramayana, it was all in his head. He didn't use MS Word or anything. He didn't compile, he didn't have any books and he didn't write. He just compiled it in his head. It was all there. And then he was thinking, who do I teach it to? Right then, Love and Kush came in front of him to offer obeisances. He said, these two are the right candidates. So he recited the Ramayana to them, and they recited after him. And just by repetition, back and forth, they memorized it. The whole 24,000 verses. And then they went around singing everywhere. So, in the early ages, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, there was no paper, there was no writing. There was only speaking and hearing. So they were called Shrutidhar. Shruti Dhar means one who holds it, remembers it just by hearing. Even in Kali Yuga, you have a few people who have this kind of photographic memory. You know, they just hear it once, remember. They see a document, they remember it. Very rare. Probably one in a million or one in maybe a handful of people in the whole world maybe. Srila Prabhupada spoke about Shrutidhar one time, that when the British were still ruling India, there was some quarrel between two people which came in the court. And it came in front of the judge. And the judge asked the two disputants, is there any witness? And there were two Englishmen, I think, probably, who had some difference. Or maybe one Englishman with one Indian, whatever. They said, yeah, there was such and such person there. So he said, call him to the court. So he came to the court as a witness. Now he only knew the Bengali language. He didn't know English. So there had to be a translator to speak. The judge had to ask some questions. So were you present at the time when this argument happened? Because they're saying that he said this, he's saying that. Yes, I was present there. So did you hear what they said? He said, yes, I heard. Can you tell us what they said? And he repeated the whole English conversation, whatever happened, even though he didn't know English. He just said, this is what they said. So like that.
Maharaj, out of curiosity, just wondering, do we know when it was roughly put into writing?
At the
And
end
by
of
whom?
Dwapar. Oh, there's a story of Ganesh and
Yeah.
Valmiki and
So is that the time when
yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So,
Only at the beginning of Kali.
yeah. When Vyasdev was compiling everything, so he also put this into writing.
Yes, yes. Because Vyasadeva understood that in Kali Yuga people's memories will be so short that they will not be able to remember anything. So there was a need to put things down in writing. Originally the Veda was only one. And then he divided it into four. And then with each of the four Vedas there were associated texts. And in this way he divided and subdivided and allotted each book to his different disciples. And that is how the whole Vedic knowledge was transmitted down in the disciplic succession.
So Maharaj, do you say that when you're reading other scriptures written by other people
Mm.
and they're not ISKCON, there's the fear of getting the wrong philosophy. Is that really such a bad thing to hear something that someone else is saying with another point of view? Does it disturb our minds so much?
Could. It could. For example, if you read Bhagavad Gita translated and commented by some other people, you may not understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada talked about one former president of India who was also a Sanskrit scholar and he has a very famous translation of Bhagavad Gita and commentary. And he doesn't accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He accepts that the original absolute truth is an impersonal spiritual Brahman and that it takes the form. So when Krishna says, I am the Supreme, he translates it as, he comments, it is not Krishna, but it is the impersonal within Krishna that is the Supreme. So therefore Prabhupada says that that is not what Krishna is saying. If Krishna wanted to say that the impersonal within me is supreme, he would have said the impersonal within me is supreme. He's not saying that. He's saying, I am the supreme. So therefore you have to translate it as Krishna is the supreme. So in this way, people will bring in their own interpretations in their translations and their commentaries. So therefore, if it is just a simple uh, translation where there is not philosophy involved, then it's okay to some degree. But where there could be philosophical interpretations, it is risky for us. Better not to do, so Srila Prabhupada cautioned. Better to stay to Sampradaya, better to stay to our ISKCON teachings. It is safer. And as far as memory is concerned, there are still some people who have astounding memory. You may see about it or hear about these people. They can remember, pi in mathematics. You know what is pi? It's a very long number, 3.14 something, going on and on and on. And there are people who can remember like 100 digits of pi, the order. So there is powers up there. There are some monks who are trained to tap their brain potential to such a degree that they have enormous memory power. There is a latent power in the brain. Leave alone the spiritual side of it. Even at a material level, the brain can be so powerful. We tap only 5 to 10% of the brain's potential. But if there are, the techniques for tapping the brain, you can also become like that. You can also do, and then just look at a book and remember everything.
Once I heard that by regular recitation of our Sanskrit verses and memorizing them actually increase the memory power. Is that true?
Definitely. Not only because of the transcendental effect of the verses, but also because you're exercising your memory. Just like when you exercise your body, your muscles become strong, right?
Sure.
That's what the bodybuilders do, isn't it? So similarly, when you exercise your memory, it becomes strong. If you don't exercise your body, the muscles become weak and flabby. So when you don't exercise your memory becomes weak. And that is what is happening in the current day. See, in the early days, we would remember telephone numbers of people. Okay, with the landline, you would remember. Nowadays, with the mobile phones, you don't need to remember. You don't remember anything. Earlier, if you were asked to calculate something, we would remember the tables. What is 13 times 15? We would remember the tables and we would say, nowadays we don't bother to even try. We have our calculator or phone and just do 13 times 15. We don't exercise the brain. And because of that, our brains are getting weaker. Our memory power is getting weaker because we're not exercising it anymore. So therefore, it's a good practice. Therefore, one of the important parts of Vedic education was memorizing. Now, it is very one of the things that people criticize about traditional education is memory. They say the children are taught to memorize so many things, but we emphasize on teaching them only concepts and how to think and analyze, which is good, which is correct, as far as teaching them how to analyze things and think for themselves. But memorization plays a very important part in education, especially in the early stages. You have to know the alphabets, you have to know the tables, you have to know certain things. You have to know this is called table, this is called chair, this is called... You have to memorize. So, in the early days, they were taught in traditional education, children were taught all the shlokas, even if they didn't know the meaning. So when they grew up, then they understood the meaning. But they already had the thing packed on all the verses. They knew, it was very easy for them.
But sometimes these days people argue saying, material education is more important than spiritual, verses are not going to be, you're not going to be able to earn money. So how do we balance that out?
No, material education is not more important than spiritual education. Spiritual education is more important than material education. At the same time, to survive in this world, one will need a certain degree of material education also. Just to be able to earn your livelihood, to be able to deal with the world outside, some degree of awareness of the material world is essential. But not that material knowledge is more important than spiritual knowledge. Material knowledge is the most, spiritual knowledge is the most important.
Because sometimes people grew up in Gurukul, then they enter, say, the university, and then they get that difference in what they've been grown into, and then they go into a different tangent. So how do we balance that, or what do we do to?
Well, we have to teach our children also different ways in which they can earn their livelihood and ways in which they can deal with the world outside. So that is one of the issues that is facing all of us who want to do education in ISKCON. How to give them a very strong spiritual foundation, at the same time make them ready to face the world, so they can manage to survive in the world and interact with the world. But remember, for all of you who are young, who are in school, this is the time when you can use your memory. Train up your memory, strengthen your memory. Learn as many shlokas as you can, and try to understand, read the books, and so that this will be a very strong foundation for you for the rest of your life. And even when you are 75 years old, you know these shlokas like this. This is the time to learn, because the mind is fresh. When you get older, it's harder to memorize things.
Yes.
Not that it's not possible, but it is
It's a
possible.
struggle. I struggle to learn. Honestly, there were like 4, 5 verses that I have learned all year. My brain is so bad.
But you see, it's a question of practice, because we have never given trouble to the brain. You know?
Yes, my brain has been on a holiday.
Maharaj, we have
That is the
Sumedha
case.
here.
Sorry?
He's learned so many shlokas.
Shlokas.
He's very good.
Yeah, so this is the age actually, from a young age, if we practice exercising the brain, exercising memory, then it will hold us in good stead for the whole life. I remember so many things we started in childhood, In year 6, I remember the Tasman founded Tasmania in 1648. I still remember that. How we remember these strange things? Yes? What was the capital city of? We learned all sorts of useless things. Yeah? Of no value really. So, but it is good. You know these things, that's why your education is very important. Learn as many things as you can. Learn the stories of the Mahabharata, the Bhagavatam, the Ramayana. So you remember them lifelong. And they will come to you at some point. Even if you think you have forgotten,
Yes.
at some point they will just come to you. But nevertheless, better late than never. It doesn't mean that now because you're not young that you can't do it. We should still exercise. Try. Whatever we can, we can. But it's not that if you can't memorize that you should feel dejected and think that you are disqualified for devotional service. That's also not the case. Right?
My biggest fear at the moment is that I just started the Bhakti Shastri course, and the verses for memorization, I couldn't sleep last night. I was like, I was a student from God knows where. I was thinking, oh my God, how will I ever pass this? I'm going to keep failing this exam every year.
If you practice, you will be able to remember. You see, when we became devotees as young brahmacharis, we had certain ways of memorizing the verses. And different devotees different innovative ways of learning the verses.
Maharaj, I've taught 3 children how to learn everything, so I was a good teacher. But I don't know how good a student I can be.
Practice. Practice is the only solution.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Keep absorbing your mind in it. Have cards.
Yes.
You put up cards in different places. And remember these verses, and as you're cooking, as you're doing things, your household chores or whatever it is, then you can repeat those verses. It's a good form of meditation also.
Yeah.
You meditate on the transcendental sound vibration of these verses. It's very purifying. And even if you don't memorize, if you're not able to memorize, fine. At least you recited those verses. No loss. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.